Hello and happy Thursday to you all, and welcome to Front Row Racing. We're here this evening for the World Series Round 10 from the Silverstone circuit in the greatest of Great Britain. My commentary team this evening is myself from a Racing DP, TempFear and Arazor21. And while I go and play about on my computer for a moment, I'm going to hand over to the both of them to see what insights they've got for us before we head over to the Silverstone circuit. So TempFear, Arazor21, welcome to you both, and over to you.
All right, thank you for that. So we normally talk about weather at this point or what we think is going to happen. So we're going to change it up. We're going to talk about what tyres are all bringing. And Arazor, since you've got fewer drivers to talk through, why don't you say that up yours first?
Hello. What do you want me to say this time? The tyres.
Yes, the tyres.
We have a bunch of guys doing balanced tires, but we have few unique ones. We have Front Row Racing GP on a hardest set, RDP on a hardest set, Millstars on softest, and we have Jason in harder set. And others are doing balanced, or we don't know what they are going to do.
Are you quite surprised by the amount of drivers that are staying unbalanced, or do you think that's the right call?
Well, I don't know. I'm kind of surprised, but then I think they want to play it safe. Don't do anything stupid before the race even starts. So I don't know.
That's fair enough. To me, like I say, I think the safety is actually good and harder. But like I say, there is one suffering in there, Millstar. So don't know what he's doing, but he's obviously got good tyre wear, from my point of view.
Well, you say that is probably going to be the first to get punctures, which is a possibility. Millstar has had punctures last season. It was something that I'm a fan of his for, because of something I saw. Oh, sorry, apologies, I've just dropped something. For something I saw on his footage from a Brazil race last season. But anyway, we've got a few minutes until we send the drivers over to the circuit, and the tyres are potentially going to be very, very important. However, I'm quickly going to run through the drivers and then we'll try and go through the not the qualifying order, the drivers' standings and also the result from the last race. Anyway, in the petrol pumpers Mercedes, we have the reigning World Series champion, Hindle, and his former World Series champion, teammate of Conzo 1993. In the old crash test dummies Ferrari, we've got Jason and Dave the Harp. In the censored Williams Racing team, we've got Kane Ianda and Bleeding Sunrise having their second race as a team partnership. In the New Age Outlaws Red Bull, we've got MX Everglow. Rickster A1295 is on holiday and hasn't arranged a reserve, unfortunately, so only MX Everglow in that car today. In the Hey Ho Double Toe Force India, we've got Farfba and RDB. And in the Wrong Tyres Renault team, we have two reserve drivers, Valdemar and SBL Malik Ekech. In the $1 million Herbie Toro Rosso car, we have Millstar 12 and Ant 69. And then in the mental age of 10 McLaren, we've got Front Row Racing GP, and his teammate DSC Man should be with us, but it isn't in the lobby yet. So Temp, if you can just send him another invite, and if he's not in by the time we're ready to go to the circuit, you will need to lock the lobby down to 20 drivers. We've then got the Yank and Limey Manor racing team of Mystic Joker and Lefty Hardtail, and then obviously the remaining two teams, the Haas. We have the admin's pick rookie driver of Mr. Loki, has shown to be very quick in reserve races, so it'll be interesting to see how he gets on here today. And then the remaining spaces will be for the admin's cars, or the broadcast team cars, should I say. So our TempFear is just trying to send DSC Man another invite, or if need be, lock in the lobby. I'm going to quickly go through the previous race result, round 9, Austria, which was a fantastic race to watch. However, there were a few drivers post-race that ended up with penalties for exceeding track limits, so the finishing order did change around quite a bit. So I'll quickly run through that. Konzo was promoted to the victory, gaining 4 places overall, taking the 25 points, with Lefty Hardtail second place. Hindle, who finished first on the day, ended up in third place, with Rickster in fourth. Ant69, best result of the season, 5th place finish for him, closely followed by Front Row Racing GP in 6th. The Mental Age of 10 McLaren reserve driver finished in 7th place, with Kane Ayanda in 8th, Jason in 9th, RDB in 10th, and then Killer Corkin, MX Everglow, Dave the Harp all DNF'd. Millstar, Bleeding Sunrise were disqualified for no footage. Farfba and the admin's pick Rookie were both disqualified for too many exceeding track limits moments. The Drivers' Championship standings is as follows, and it has changed around quite a bit, with Mystic Joker unfortunately getting a race ban a couple of events ago. Hindle leading the way on 145 points, with Konzo in second place on 127. Mystic Joker's in third on 120 points, with Lefty Hardtail in fourth on 78. Jason's in 5th place on 47 points, and then Ant69 is in 7th on 35. Andy Russell is on 32 points, but I don't think he's going to be racing again this season. And then the admin's pick Rookie car is on 31 points in 9th place. From a Racing GP in 10th on 26 points. And then we've got Farfba on 16. RDB, his teammate, on 13 points. They're 11th and 12th. Millstar in 13th place on 12 points. Dave the Harp only got 10 points in 14th place. Bleeding Sunrise, he's in 15th on 8 points. His teammate is right behind him on 4 points. And then DSZ Man on 3 points in 17th place. And then we've got MX Everglow on 0 points. The constructors' standings at the moment is Petrol Pumpers leading the way on 272 points. Yank and Limey Manor on 198, Censored Williams on 95, and then there's a bit of a gap to the Old Crash Test Dummies on 67, Wrong Tires Renault on 64, they're joined by Mental Age of 10 McLaren on the same amount of points. $1 Million Herbie Toro Rosso on 47, New Age Outlaws Red Bull on 38, and the FRR rookie Marabobo Haas on 31 points, with Hey Ho Double Toe Force India bottom of the standings on 30 points. So, Temp, do we have DSC Man in? No, he's not. Bit of a shame that, really. Well, let's see, what is the time? It's 32 minutes past. We'll give it one more moment and then I'll ask you to lock the lobby. Go on.
I've been told by his teammate there's no contact for him and he has been offline for 6 days, so I've already locked it to 20.
Okay, in that case then, if we pick our cars, which I believe we have done, and we can send the drivers over to the circuit for round 10 of the Furrow Racing World Series from Silverstone, and it's a track that I think a lot of people are expecting wet weather. I know you said you weren't going to mention it when we first came on air, but do you guys think it's going to be wet?
Yeah, I'm disappointed from yesterday.
It's gonna rain and I'm liking it.
They can fill in for yesterday, I think.
Well, yesterday was very, very odd in that for many during the qualifying session it showed that it wasn't going to rain, and it did, and it really stung a few drivers that were either doing banker laps, and when they were on the way back into the pits, that's when the rain fell and they couldn't get a decent lap in after that. But for others, it kind of made their race. And in the race, the World Championship race yesterday was fantastic to watch. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's definitely worth it. Quick look at the tyres here. Soft, medium and hard tyres available for the drivers here at Silverstone. And as you guys have already mentioned, tyre wear's a bit of a factor. But a lot of people bring in the balanced tyre. Something we saw in the couple of the reserve races was people doing quite well in qualifying on the medium compound tyre. And Temp, could you give any kind of explanation as to why that might be?
More because, well, I would say one probably not so much after the new tyre bitch patch update, whatever it was. But yeah, one stop is possible if you qualify on the mediums, whereas you touch the soft tyres and you can't make a one stop happen. It's pretty much impossible. Unless your name's probably someone like Jason, who is pretty nice on his tyres, so... But then again, I think medium hard's still much quicker. And we've been let down by the weatherman again.
Yeah, well, it's looking like it's going to be a dry qualifying session. It's an 18-minute session, and it's showing dry all the way through for the next 20 minutes. Have a quick look at the race, and yeah, it's looking dry for the race as well. With the temperatures actually rising after 45 minutes, or around 45 minutes, but considering that the race is probably only going to take about 42 minutes, I don't think the sun's going to have come out in time. Okay, the Silverstone wing. It's had a bit of paintwork done over the last year. Unfortunately, not on the game, though. Let's see who's going to be heading out of the pits first. It's one of the Mercedes drivers, and I think one of the Renaults has just snuck out ahead of him. But Hindle heading out onto the circuit on the soft compound tyre. Do you reckon he's going to be doing a banker lap, or do you think he's going to be going for it here nice and early on the softest tyre to get a quick lap in?
I don't even think he'll complete the lap. It'll be either straight back in the end of this lap, or he'll do some second times with them back in. So he won't complete the lap. But it is SBL Malikek ahead of him. He's got a very comfortable helmet, I'll give him that.
Yeah, well, I do know that some drivers have brought new helmets to the British Grand Prix. SBL Malikek, I'm not sure if he's got a new helmet, but it's got a nice bit of pink and blue on it. I did have, well, actually, SBL Malikek actually did send me a picture of his helmet earlier. I was wondering what someone was doing, sending me a picture of their purple helmet, but it did look quite nice. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get much of a better view of it than what we have at the moment. Millstar, he's out on track. He's on the medium compound tyre. Kane Nyanda, he's out there as well. Mr. Loki heading out the pits on the medium compound tyre. Konzo also on the soft compound. Jason, he's gone for the softs. Lefty Hardtail has as well. And 69, no, he's looking at a set of mediums on his car. But Hindle looks like he's going to be the first to potentially attempt to set a lap time. He thought he was going to go for the pits, but no, he's just slowing down. It's not like he needs to create a bit of space between himself and the cars ahead, because there aren't any. Perhaps just cooling the tyres a little bit. So here we go then for a lap of the Silverstone circuit. Heading now flat out towards turn 1, and hopefully it should be a flat out turn 1. Oh, way too much curb there, and he's backed out of that one straight away. That's probably a good way of showing how not to do it. I'll tell you what though, Temp, if you could let us know what question was asked to Hindle for his pre-race comments, and let us know what he had to say.
Well, let me get him up. You like to keep me notice. But yeah, I did see Mr. Tripp coming out a set of mediums while he was talking. Right, Hindle's pre-race comments. So he asked him, it's your home Grand Prix. You can't let the spot or the yank win here, can you? I actually questioned what was put there. Yeah, we said you can't let the spot or the yank win here, can you? And he thought, absolutely not. Will be tricky though. Never been the quickest here for some reason. That's it. Pretty short, sweet and simple, isn't it?
Yep, straightforward. The Scott being his teammate and the Yang being Mystic Joker. And in some ways he can't afford to let them win here, but also with it being his home Grand Prix, yeah, he's going to want to take the victory. I've just been watching Ant on his flying lap. We don't often get to see him during a qualifying session, so I figured why not. And Ant's usually quite verbal with his pre-race comments. We're going to have a look at how he gets on through Maggots and Beckett's. He's looking committed, perhaps a little bit too much curb there, running wide now. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. So as he heads up the hangar straight, what did Ant69 have to say today?
Well, we asked him best rule season last time out, can he match it this week? He said, I believe I can always be in the top 8 if I focus. Same as always, 5 out 1, then go about my business. Looking to give RDB a wave when I pass him after his good move on me in Austria. So, a bit of rivalry starting to heat up there.
Oh, there definitely is. So Ant69 then crosses the line and he's staying 17th place, unfortunately for him. Okay, let's see at the timing screen. Millstar currently on a pole position with a 132.331. Konzo.
Mediums in the middle sector, you know.
Who's that? Sorry, Mystic Joker.
You're gonna half decent middle sector. You won't be happy with that, though. in the steering a bit sliding, so...
Well, I'm just...
This last section.
Yeah, he has. I'm just looking at the sky, and I tell you what, it's looking very, very grey and cloudy, a lot like it was yesterday. Whether we're going to see any rainfall or not, I don't know. But Mystic Joker coming around the final corner. Is this going to be anywhere near the front? Yes, it is. That's provisional pole position, a 1:31.736, and it's no surprise. And I tell you what, Mystic Joker, he'll be coming into this one with a point to prove. Unfortunately, being disqualified and getting a race ban for a technicality. I will just say point blank though, there was no cheating involved or anything like that. It was nothing like that. But unfortunately, he did have a disqualification and a race ban. And I know it annoyed him, and he's going to be coming into this one wanting to win and win dominantly. Okay, just having a look at Bleeding Sunrise while he's on his lap. Now, if you are watching at the moment and you've got any questions that you'd like to ask, whether it be how do I join Front Row Racing, or what do you think of Silverstone, or what do you think of F1, could be pretty much anything, but hopefully not too rude, or that'll take all of Tony's attention for the whole of the session. But yeah, if you've got any questions that you want to ask, just put @FRR and ask your question. Bear in mind as well, at the end of the race we will do the podium interview, so if you have any questions you want to put to the drivers at that point, also you can comment then. We'll do question of the day as well, which I'm going to give out in a moment, and that's an opportunity just for a bit of fun to have a guess at the answer. Usually I'd say no googling the answer, but to be honest, Google ain't going to help you this time around. So question of the day is as follows. A lot of people know me for being the kind of person that doesn't sleep at usual hours. TempFear will know about that. Hang on, that sounds like we sleep together. We don't. I'll just point that out. We don't. But if anyone was watching the World Championship race yesterday, you'll have known that I was awake for a long, long time. So the question of the day is, what time did Front Row Racing DP wake up today? I want the hour and the minutes. So that's the question of the day. What time did Front Row Racing DP wake up today? As Bleeding Sunrise coming around the final corner, let's see where this time is going to put him. It's 4th place on the soft compound tyre. So, TempFear, do you want to have a guess at answering that one?
Right. I know what time you normally wake up. And if you said you were awake for a long time yesterday or whatever, I've got a feeling you just about made it in time for this.
Oh, I don't know what you think of me. So what, you're saying what?
What? I turned up, you sent your party invite at 7? I'm going to say 6.
So you're thinking 6:30 PM.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, if you want to have a guess at answering that question today, just post it in the YouTube comments. You can put @FRR, and Tony will keep an eye on that. Looking at Jason, go on, Tony.
If someone gets it right spot on, we are calling police about that.
Yeah, we definitely are, because if they know exactly what time I did wake up, then I am going to be a little bit concerned about that. I tell you what, I'm watching Jason through Maggots and Beckett's, and it looks like he's enjoying himself through there on a set of the medium compound tyres. Now, Tony, you're a bit of a fan of Jason's. Do you think he's going to be able to do well this week?
I don't know. He can do stuff, so I hope he can do well, but let's see what happens.
Yep. Well, if any comments, go on, Temp.
Just so you know, I'm watching this open. He's on the soft tyres, but he set a first sector time that I'm pretty amazed at. A 27.5 in the first sector. I know he's on the soft tyres, but that's immense.
That is quick. So, maybe he's running a very, very, very low downforce setup, because
it's a good middle sector as well. So,
well, it'll be interesting if he's able to take pole on a set of soft tyres, and the likes of Mystic Joker are behind him on a set of mediums. It's going to make the race interesting, because I think Mr. Hamilton 44 were on mediums yesterday. Pitted on about lap 5 or 6. The soft tyres won't last very long, but Mr. Loki has gone pole with a 1:30.206. Let's see, Valdemar, he's gone and put himself into second place, reserve driver in the Renault team today. so sitting in second place on a set of medium compound tyres. Lefty Hardtail looks like he's on an in-lap now. He is, I think, yeah, he's in 7th place at the moment. Have we got anybody else out there? RDB, he's gone out on track. Farfba looks like he's on an in-lap or an out-lap, to be honest. Yeah, it does look
Jason
like...
has gone for a second lap and he's throwing the 3/10 up, just heading to the final 2 corners now.
Okay, we'll see.
28.2 in the first, 38.5 in the middle, so now Alfonso moves himself up, goes to 4, 36.2, moves himself to 4 positions. You'll be happy with that?
He will be happy with that. 4th place. Okay, Farfba then. So he's just gone through turn 1, turn 2, now heading into turn 3. And I must admit, I'm not a big fan of these particular corners here at the Silverstone circuit. I'm a bit of a stickler for the old tracks. Although saying that, I recently had the opportunity to drive around the original Mexico circuit. And for years I've been saying, oh, I love the old Mexico track. I've got to be honest. Anyone that slates the new Mexico track, the only thing you can be annoyed about is the fact that the Peraltada's not there anymore. The rest of the track, be thankful that we've got the newer version, because trust me, the old version is evil. It's not nice at all. How much the past seems to be better than what we currently have is phenomenal. But anyway, Farfba has just gone through Copse Corner. It looked like he struggled a little bit with understeer into Maggotts and Beckett's then. Carrying a nice bit of speed. This is the crucial part of the section though. Nicely through there. Get ready to open that DRS wing, and it is open. Sectors though, 28.4 and a 38.9. That middle sector's a little bit slower than he would have wanted it to be. And that could be from Copse Corner. So round Stowe is gone then. Heading now into Vale and Club. Oh, running wide again, yeah, a little bit too much understeer in the car for him by the looks of it. Struggling with a bit of a gear change as well. But across the line he's going to go, and it's 9th place.
We have Ponzo and Hindle both out on set of mediums and out lap. Ponzo's not got starting, and we have someone else on that last. Oh yeah, MX7 was just like back on mediums as well.
Okay, well, I'm on board with Konzo at the moment, and in a couple of seconds we'll find out what his pre-race comments were. So into turn 1 for Konzo then. And I tell you what, Konzo's season has had quite a nice switch around. He's come into a bit of luck recently. Looked into a couple of victories and fully deserved one of them. I think it was Baku, just had an absolutely fantastic drive. And I tell you what, if he could get himself another victory, he could find himself leading the championship. Sector 1 time of a 28.0. Half a second down, I think it is, on Mr. Loki's time, but obviously Konzo on the medium compound tyre. Now we'll see how he gets on through Copse Corner, see how committed he is, see if the front end grips at all. Bit of a downshift, but yeah, the front end of the car going exactly where he wants it to be. Maggotts and Beckett's then. A little bit of a lift quite early on, but carrying the speed very nicely. An extra downshift. Hugging the apexes quite comfortably through Maggotts and Beckett's. DRS open, a 38.3 sector 2 time. So at the moment he's looking at being higher than 9th place. Because Farfba did slower sector 1 and sector 2 and got 9th. Or a bit of a twitch on the exit of Stowe. Let's see how he gets on through the final few corners. MX Everglow's qualifying session is over. Konzo then, where's he going to be? Little sideways, it's 2nd place. That was crucial. So Temp, would you be able to take us through Konzo's pre-race comments?
I'm pretty certain him looking across the line. He was slightly quicker in front of the first 2 sectors, and yeah, he just taken 2nd place off in 31.2, beaten by almost 2/10. So there's a last sector that pretty much identical saying that. So maybe a nice Mercedes ball for this race. But Konzo's pre-race comments was that?
Yep, if you could.
Konzo, there you are. So we asked him, it's surely going to be road for the race, but this works for advantage. And he replied with, pace is looking good around here, but my throttle pedal is well, I'm starting to think like Steve here. Throttle pedal is not no resistance anymore, and is sticking on some bumps when I'm not on throttle going around corners. hoping for no rain. Seems to struggle on this track in the rain, so hopefully dry race to keep up the momentum so I can make this a driver championship fight. Maybe 3 driver championship fight, but well, at the moment it's Weatherman's saying it's going to be dry, whether it does stay dry. You know what I mean?
Well, Konzo is struggling with a bit of a throttle issue, but I'm now riding on board with Front Row Racing GP. TempFear's head has just ended up in his hands because he knows what's coming in a moment with Front Row Racing GP on a set of soft tyres. It looks like he's already set one lap on these, either that or it's just showing his previous best sectors. Got a car ahead of him on the racing line and manages to get out of the way eventually. 28-2 sector 1. Now we do know that Front Row Racing GP likes to come along with difficult to translate pre-race comments, shall we say. So as the driver is heading up towards Copse Corner, TempFear, would you like to let everybody know what question was asked to Front Row Racing GP and how he answered it in his home Grand Prix?
And before anyone says anything, the person who asked the question had no idea he was going to do this, but I did. So here we go. We asked him, it's your home Grand Prix, what translation will you use this week to describe your thoughts on the race ahead? Here we go, hang on, let me go back a few hundred years. Right. Translation, Wilson not best be needed this week, as unless they needed to return it to school, this race is in Mine Kingdom, and I would give it Mine Kingdom for a fast car, fast car, fast car. Mine Kingdom for a fast car. I still don't know what he's trying to put there, so I'm just going to put EKE, a new helmet that showeth mine true local mine country. But also, him just being on soft clothes, like I say, he has told me what strategy he was planning to do, so unless I manage to change him, I know what he's doing.
Well, it looked like Front Row Racing GP abandoned his lap towards the end there. He may have felt that he had an ETL in the lap somewhere. Mr. Loki, he's abandoned his lap. Mali Kekec is leaving the pits, but he's not going to have time to improve a lap. Dave the Harp, he's gone through Sector 1 already with a 28.6, currently sitting in 8th place. Have we got anybody else out on track at the moment, guys?
Dave the Harp. I don't know if he'll make it to the line. I don't think he's on a final lap. The tyres at 10 seconds, just heading into Sugar a little bit. To the final 2 corners. I don't think he's going to make it.
He has!
I think he just did.
So he is just going to be able to start continue this particular lap. He got lucky there. He got lucky. The flag obviously waves on 0, not on 0.1. Okay, so we've got Dave the Harp and Millstar both out on track. Millstar's further ahead around the circuit at the moment, heading through Maggots and Beckett's on the soft compound tyre, currently sitting in 10th place. And one of the things that quite a few of the drivers sort of compete within their own team is the driver head-to-heads, qualifying head-to-heads and race head-to-heads. And I find it quite interesting how in some of the teams there's drivers that are dominant in qualifying, but when it comes to the race, their teammate keeps beating them. And there is quite a bit of a story to tell there. And what we've been trying to do, about every third race, we'll put a picture out on Facebook with the head-to-heads. And I have got them. And if we get a chance at any point in the race, I may mention it. As Millstar puts himself into 5th place. Dave the Harp now heading up to Stowe Corner. He's currently in 9th on the medium compound tyres. Only got a couple of corners to go, and then we're going to be able to see the exact qualifying order, where I'll have to leave the lobby and TempFear and Tony can take us through the qualifying order. I'll be leaving the lobby to come back in to catch the start. But Dave the Harp across the line, and I think it may have still been 9th. Yes, it was. Okay, so here we... No, he didn't. So Mr. Loki then, he's taken pole position, and in a moment I'll get TempFear to run through that order for you. I was wondering if there's a bit of a mixed up grid. Not really. Okay, TempFear, over to you for the qualifying order.
Yeah, let me just get the pictures. But yeah, I think we have Mr. Loki on pole, to say, with that blistering first sector that I saw him do. So like I say, On pole, we have Mr. Loki. Second, Hindle on the mediums, so with Mr. Loki being on the soft, so that'd be interesting. Third, Konzo, also on the mediums, just behind his teammate. Fourth, Vladimir in the Renault, so it's a good showing from him also on the mediums, right behind Konzo and Hindle, so it could be one to watch out for. Fifth, Millstars on the softs. Sixth, Mystic Joker, probably won't be too happy with that. Seventh, Mankeke. Eighth, Jason. Ninth, Dave the Harp. 10th was Bleeding Sunrise. 11th was Lefty Hardtail. 12th was Sparkbear. And 13th was Kane on mediums. And also in 14th on the mediums. MX7 15th on mediums. And then we had Front Row Racing GP in 16th, who was on the softs, but whether or not he starts on them, since he gets free choice, will be another thing to see. And last but not least was RDB in 17th on mediums. But like I say, those bottom 7 have free choice of tyre at the start of the race, so it'll be interesting to see what they go for.
It will be, and when the formation lap begins, you'll be able to have a look at what tyres 11th downwards do go for. But yeah, if you could give me a shout when the formation lap does begin, and I shall rejoin. But an interesting qualifying session now. I mean, we've got Mr. Loki, who's the Admin's Pit rookie driver for this event, taking pole position, but the driver's right behind him, being on the medium compound tyre. It could make things a little interesting in the race.
Anyway, just to let you know.
Okay, I shall try and get back in then, and as soon as I'm back in, we'll go through question of the day again. So while the formation lap is underway, you guys can have a look at what tyres the guys outside the top 10 have gone for, and quickly mention question of the day again. You want to have a guess at this one? I think it could be quite amusing, and we'll come to Tony for his attempt at the guess. But anyway, people tend to know that I sleep strange hours, and they tend to know that I can sleep for a long time. So the question of the day today is quite a simple one, really. What time did Front Row Racing DP get up today? What time did I get up today? I want the hour and the minutes. Get your guesses in on the YouTube chat. Tony, do you want to have a guess at what time I got up today?
I would say 3:30 p.m.
3:30 p.m. Okay.
That's not normal, really.
that would usually be early for me. Okay, so on the formation lap then, Mr. Loki is leading the field, obviously. So not long now until the Front Row Racing World Series gets underway here at Silverstone. From the leading few cars, I mean, Mr. Loki, he's going to be probably one of the first to pit when it comes to just a natural pit stop for tyres. Hindle is holding the pack up quite a lot, maybe hoping to either just look after his tyres or perhaps make Mr. Loki's lose a bit of temperature or sit on the line for quite some time. Konzo's got his teammate right behind him, and where did Mystic Joker qualify? 6th place for Mystic Joker. I don't think that has gone completely to plan, but we do know just how quick that guy can be. We've seen him go from the back of the grid to the front a few times this season, so there's no reason why he can't go from 6th to 1st here. But anyway, as the drivers start lining up on the grid, then the fans are ready. We're ready. The drivers, I hope they're ready. Having done a formation lap, if they're not ready now, they never will be. Quite a bit of smoke coming from a Toro Rosso there. And quickly get back on board with Mr. Loki, and we'll wait for the lights. Here we go then. 1 light, 2 light, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. The British Grand Prix is underway. A bit of a delayed start there by the looks of it. Mr. Loki's had a good start though. Hindle took it in right behind him and just ahead of his teammate Konzo. Got an awful camera angle there for a moment. 3rd place, 4th place. The Renault looking up the inside of Konzo. That's Valdemar, and he's got Millstar up the inside of him now, trying to steal 4th place, which he's managed to do on the soft compound tyre. Mystic Joker still sitting back there in 6th. Valdemar now, though, fighting back, and his teammate, SPL Mali Kekech, he's trying to overtake Mystic Joker. Has he done it? It looks like he has. Up the inside, he's now ran wide, and Mystic Joker trying a bit of a switchback move on him, but he's going to be held around the outside as Millstar is now losing a place to Valdemar. So not quite as action-packed as the World Championship in the opening lap, but I tell you what, we've still got a Renault with Mystic Joker side by side heading into Kops, and SBL Mali Kekec holds on to the position. Oh, Mystic Joker, just seen there, having a big moment sideways, and he's under a lot of pressure now from SBL Malikakec, and Dave the Harp facing the wrong direction. There's been a big spin there. He's in the middle of the road. Hopefully nobody's going to collect him, and thankfully it's ghosting the cars around him as Dave the Harp now drops all the way down to 16th place. Okay, guys, is there anything that you've managed to see, seeing as you've managed to get onto the cameras now?
Well, not on the cameras, but when we were pulling off, Lefty Hardtail was pulled off the left-hand side of the track at the start, so I don't know if he wanted to stay out of all of the carnage or what, but he's now finding himself near the back of the grid.
Oh dear, maybe he's had a bit of a problem there, but on to lap 2. Mr. Loki is still leading this race with Hindle right behind him. A little bit of a gap, but I tell you what, Valdemar, he's still fighting with Mystic Joker. I tell you what, I think I went onto the wrong car for a moment then. It looked like it's actually Mystic Joker and Millstar that were battling. My apologies. Some of the camera angles here aren't particularly great either. And in the background, SBL Mali Kekec being pressured by a Williams and a Force India, trying to defend, and does manage to do so. That's K9 and RDB right behind him. Force India taking a wide line. I don't think it's going to work for him though. Actually going for a bit of a switchback up the inside, and that's K9 on the hard compound tyre, which is why the medium compound clad Force India is able to make a nice move up the inside of Cop's corner.
Yeah, just want to let you know, so you know it's gained on the hard also, but I've got nice and GP also on me.
Okay, I tell you what, Mystic Joker's coming under a lot of pressure again from Millstar. DRS not available yet. Millstar will have been wishing that it is, but I've got to say, for Mystic Joker, perhaps not the best of starts. Okay, he's gained 1 place, but he's under a lot of pressure at the moment.
So usually he's one of the man on the move, in all honesty.
Yep, you're right. He is usually the man on the move. However, Mr. Loki, he's the guy that is really shifting. But I tell you what, thinking about it, it really isn't, because he's on the softest tyre and Hindle is staying right behind him. So I think Mr. Loki is going to be looking at easily a 2-stop strategy for this race. And if Hindle keeps this pace up, if a 1-stop's possible, he's going to be leading this race quite comfortably.
There is a train behind GP. There is tight battling there.
Okay, so we've got front racing. Oh, you're right. There is a train of cars. That's Dave the Harp in the Ferrari. Oh, Williams very wide. And I tell you what, just behind them, MX Everglow. A bit of contact with Lefty Hardtail. Couldn't tell exactly what happened there. I just saw that 3 of them were getting very, very close together. And MX Everglow has now got K9 just ahead of him. So Tony was right on that one. Oh, and I tell you what, and 69 and Dave the Harp side by side, and it's not worked for Dave. Into the barrier he goes. And that's a front wing gone. Massively unfortunate for Dave there. MX Everglow and K9 still fighting. MX Everglow has actually managed to get ahead. I couldn't see exactly what happened with Dave the Harp there. I just sort of caught it out of the corner of the camera. So guys,
this has been a tough lap for Gainley, and he was 10th when the lap started, and now he's in 15th place.
Oh, you're right then. It has been a very, very tough lap for him. I'm just having a quick look at Mali Kekec. I was going to look at something else, but Mali Kekec fighting with RDB through turn 1, and Mali Kekec manages to hold on to that 9th place.
Hindle is not as close to Loki as he was previous lap, but he may have made a mistake in set 6. He's slowly gaining back.
Well, I mean, we're on to the 4th lap of this race now. If Hindle can stay within DRS range, he's got a chance of attacking. But I don't think he really needs to, because I think that Mr. Loki could be pitting anywhere from lap 5 or 6. So all Hindle needs to do is make sure the cars behind him don't get any closer.
Yeah, we saw yesterday early as lap 3. Some of the stock runners pitted, so good save those for now.
Yeah, quite possibly. I mean, which is the mandatory tyre here, Temp? Is it both the medium and the hards?
Actually, don't know. Top of my head, I think it's medium.
Okay, in that case then, what if the medium compound tyre is the mandatory, then what Mr. Loki might be possibly planning on doing could be a two-stop strategy. You get to lap 5, RDB, his race is over. Disaster for the Force India team. But yeah, Mr. Loki, what he may be thinking of doing is if he can get to lap 5, which he's on, or lap 6, he could do a double medium stint of 10 laps, or 10 laps and 11 laps. Whereas Hindle may have to do a medium and a hard stint, or a medium soft stint. Have a quick look at Konzo here in 3rd place, and he's got Valdemar not too far behind him. Valdemar's actually got DRS, and Mystic Joker's not gaining on Valdemar at all. I think Milstar's tyres have started going off a little bit. He's now dropping ground to Mystic Joker. Jason running in at 7th place. Go on.
Malik Egech has just beaten, I think, for the hardest tyres.
So I think Malik Egech was on the soft compound tyre. So yeah, lap 5 is all he's going to be able to do on those. And if he's gone for the hardest tyre now, see what he can do later on in the race. So having a quick look at Farthborough, who's got a bit of a train of cars a few seconds behind him. The field beginning to get a little bit spread out, but as strategy comes in, it's going to close up again, I think, later on in this race. And looking up at the skies, oh! Lefty Hardtail and MX Everglow getting very, very close together. Yeah, looking up at the skies, it's looking very, very dark up there. So, guys, any news from anywhere on the track?
Milstar is in a pit lane.
Yeah, I was about to say. Leading hard tyre runner is Federation GP. Currently 8th now, but 7th now, 2 cars ahead of him pitted, so he may be one to watch out for a few laps later on.
Okay, so GP, the leading hard tyre runner, and the leading medium tyre runner is Hindle, and he's gaining on Mr. Loki. He's clearly within DRS range, and I think Loki's tyres are really beginning to suffer now, as Hindle is gaining towards Copse Corner. Mr. Loki taking a minor defensive line. It could compromise him on the exit. Hindle's had a fantastic run there. He could attempt it into Magnussen Beckett's, but he doesn't really have to. He can just wait for the DRS, make sure he gets a good exit out of Chapel. And that's this bit right now, and he's got a good exit. He's close enough. He's already next to him. DRS will pop open. This will give him the opportunity to make the move, but he's being held around the outside. But around the outside he goes, sweeps into the apex. Lovely move, and that's Hindle into the lead. And I think that's going to be Mr. Loki into the pits. Is it? No, he's continuing on. I'm quite surprised that he's carried on there. In 3rd place is Konzo, and he's still got Valdemar, reserve driver, worked his way through the World Series reserves quite nicely to get this opportunity today, and he's holding on to the back of Konzo and bugging Mystic Joker. Now, I've just seen it saying migrating host, so I think unfortunately TempFear I think has just been disconnected from the lobby.
Yeah, the game crashed.
Oh, the game crashed. Oh, that's frustrating, disappointing. Hopefully you'll be able to get back in with us. But I'm just keeping an eye on Konzo here, because I think Valdemar's doing a fantastic job. Let's see, Jason. He's still running in 6th place. He's got a bit of a gap to himself from Front Racing GP, who's 20 seconds off the lead. So if the leaders decide to pit, they're going to come back out onto the track somewhere around this McLaren driver. And Ant69 right behind GP on the medium compound tyre. But I want to have a quick look at Milstar. It was you said that pitted, wasn't it, Tony? You said that Milstar pitted recently, gone onto the hard tyre.
Molly Kekic was one, and I don't remember who was the other. Mystic Joker is overtaking Voldemort with DRS. No luck there. And they are quite close to Gonzo.
Valdemar's gone for the pits. Valdemar's decided lap 7, that's as far as it's going to go. Mr. Loki, he's
Loki
into the pits.
There, yes.
Yep, well spotted. So Loki into the pits, getting rid of his soft compound tyres end of lap 7. And just goes to show that he's either very, very good on his tyres or Valdemar's a little rough on his. But that does promote Hindle into the lead. His teammate Konzo running in second place. Mystic Joker, there's now a little bit of a gap. He hasn't got to worry about overtaking Valdemar, but he could do with catching up to Konzo. He can see him. The gap though between himself and the lead is now 4.7 seconds, but with 18 laps of this race still to go, he may be able to catch that back up. I mean, if he's running low fuel, he may be able to push the car a little harder a little later on. Okay, let's see where Mr. Loki came back out on track. I tell you what, he came out in traffic, and you know what? Valdemar, who pitted, came out ahead of him. But Mr. Loki is now attacking him into Brooklands. Both of these guys on the hard compound tyre. So either Valdemar had a ridiculously quick pit stop, or Mr. Loki had a ridiculously long one.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but Valdemar was ahead when they went for the pits, so something happened there, I think.
I tell you what, if you can have a quick look at the race directors for us and see whether Mr. Loki perhaps had a 5-second stop-go penalty, that would explain a lot, and it would also mean that when the leaders Hindle, Konzo and Mystic Joker pit, he could be behind the lot of them. Oh, I tell you what, I've just spotted there's a bit of a battle going on. Who was it? Was it Mystic Joker? No, Mystic Joker's on his way into the pits. Apologies for the slightly dodgy camera work. It's Farfba and Lefty Hardtail that are getting close. And it is Mr. Loki that's catching up to them. And with Mystic Joker in the pits, we should be seeing him exit the pits any moment as his teammate goes through, and the Force India runs a little bit wide through turn 2, and now having a look up the inside of Valdemar, but not quite able to hold on. Oh, looking for a switchback though. Can he make that work? Not quite able to do it.
Yeah, that's the good part of the pits. So we had a half spin. He got a bit too wide, put the rear out on the grass, and just had a bit nice slide across the track. Looking the one was coming through turn 2.
Well, yeah, I mean, Mr. Joker is in 10th place, and there's a bit of a gap between himself and Mr. Loki, but there is a little bit of a train forming behind Lefty Hardtail, and that is Mr. Loki right behind him. And this may help Mystic Joker catch up, but Mr. Loki, I'll tell you what, looked like Lefty Hardtail did a little bit of a lift there. It was either an ETL lift or it was a sympathy lift, and he's let Mr. Loki go. But that's now going to put himself under pressure from Valdemar, who's right up his gearbox on the hard compound tyre. Both guys, though, have got DRS. So side by side into Stowe they go, and the Renault driver manages to get ahead.
That's what I quickly mention. Ant's haven't been fixed it yet, still on those mediums, so he's doing quite well. And speaking of Loki and Valdemar pitting as early as they have, I mean, we saw people yesterday getting bunker laps and Steam teammate. So these guys kind of do 17 laps, 18 laps, like on the hard. They'll do well not to get a puncture and get to the end of the race on one pit stop.
Yeah, I mean, punctures was a big feature in yesterday's race. And could be again today. I mean, this might be why the likes of Hindle and Konzo are running probably as long as they possibly can do. I'm just wondering, guys, if we've got any battles kicking off anywhere on the track at the moment.
Not that I'm aware of. Another person I might have though is Jason. Both Razor hasn't mentioned that one. Also in third. Stevie hasn't fitted either. Yes, he does not know that.
Was going to mention that, but it's better that you did, so it doesn't sound so weird.
He just entered the pits, and I have seen him enter the pits at a very quick pace, but yeah, he hasn't got a drive-through though, so that's something on my side. But yeah, Hindle into the pits.
Lefty hardtail, he's got a puncture, front left. He's lost a few positions already, he's down to 12th, and there's a good chance he's going to lose a few more places. So punctures...
Else, at the front, just it's someone at the front, or that was at the front, does have a 3-second time penalty, so it could get very interesting.
It could get very interesting. Now Hindle, he's leaving the pits now. Starter lap 11, he's gone for another set of the medium compound tyres, so that is definitely a two-stop strategy for Hindle. He's come out the pits right behind the McLaren driver I mentioned earlier on, which is Front Row Racing GP, who's on the hard tyres and probably going to be going for a fair few more laps. But I tell you what, Hindle, he's got a nice healthy little lead overall. He's already trying to go on.
Soon, the hard tyres, then, well, say Conte can do another lap. He's got a good chance of winning this race.
Yeah,
or
he has.
Play the 13 game and go on the same strategy.
Oh, I don't know. We'll find out. But Hindle, he's being held up by for a Racing GP at the moment. He's entitled to fight for the position, even though he hasn't made his stop yet. But okay, Konzo into the pits then. Hindle, here's his opportunity. DRS wide open, and GP doesn't defend. He sort of offered him the inside line, and Hindle into third place. However, is he going to be able to get out ahead of his teammate Konzo, who is now heading down the pit lane on what tyres, Temp?
Hard tyres, so right now at least Konzo's race. Trying to get close to the end.
Well, Hindle...
And there is quite a big gap between Konzo and Hindle.
There is. There's a very, very big gap there, Tony. You're right. What do you think's caused that?
I don't know. I just saw that maybe Konzo's tires were a bit worn, and there was no grip, and he lost a big chunk of time in his extra lap compared to Hindle, who pitted a lap earlier.
You could be very, very right there. Now, Tem mentioned Ant69 a few laps ago, saying that he hadn't pitted yet. He has pitted now. He's on the hard compound tyre, down in 12th place, but I think those positions will switch about a bit throughout the course of this race. Jason's pitted as well. He's in 11th place, not too far up the road from Ant69, and he is catching SPL Mali Kekech and Bleeding Sunrise. For a Racing GP, though, still running the hard compound tyre. He's got Mr. Loki catching him up, and Hindle's already pulled away. He's out of shot. So I think for a Racing GP, will be heading into the pits fairly soon, but not quite yet. He's going on for another lap. I mean, Temp, for GP, on the hard compound tyre, any thoughts on what his plan is here?
Well, I think I've converted him. He was going to do a two-stop. He was going to go the soft, hard. But with him starting on those hards and not pitting yet, his only strategy that would really pay off for him now would be to do one stop onto the mediums. He could pit end of this lap, but it would be a bit touch and go. If he can go to end of lap 14, then he should be quite easy to be able to go to the end of the race and set of mediums from there.
Yep, 12 laps on a set of medium tyres. Now, both drivers have got DRS here. Well, Mr. Loki going for the move anyway. You know, GP's got DRS because there was a Force India ghosted, which has given him the DRS. And I tell you what, just behind these guys, it looks like I saw the hint of a battle between Valdemar and Konzo. But they've got a little bit further apart from each other, unless it was Mystic Joker fighting. No, Mystic Joker is kind of all on his own in 6th place, 12.5 seconds off the lead. I was expecting fireworks from Mystic Joker here today, but it's not quite happening.
Mason's all over the back of Man in Bleeding Sunrise now, so and taking him on, so right with these two.
Yeah, well, let's see. I mean, Jason pitted a couple of laps ago, so I've got a feeling he's going to be trying to go to the end. He's got a good run on SBL Mali Kekec here, but Maggots and Beckett's, it's not the best of places to try and overtake. The best thing you can do is just get this bit right and stay as close as you can, and he's managed to do that. The problem is that Mali Kekec is going to have DRS as well, but let's see what Jason can do with that Ferrari power up the inside towards Stowe. Nice move, a little bit of contact though, sends both guys off the track, gives Bleeding Sunrise a breather, and I tell you what, Jason is doing the respectful thing there and letting Mali Kekec back through. That could hinder Jason's race overall, but you can't argue with a guy that makes contact with someone and gives them the place back. I tell you what, Hindle looking quite comfortable at the moment, but we do know he's got another pit stop to do, so he needs to try and pull out, well, I was going to say a pit stop on Mr. Loki, but I think Mr. Loki is going to have to make another stop. I don't think Mr. Loki is going to get these hard tyres. I'm trying to think, it was lap 7 he pitted, 19 laps on the hard tyres, Tem?
Yeah, you've got a long way. If he gets into the end, he deserves around the course from everyone. So, yeah, to me, you've got to do a quick stop. He'll be quick at the end though, because he'll put the soft tyres on along with Hindle. I think that's what Hindle's plan will be as well, put him to set soft tyres on.
Quite possibly. Now, Front Row Racing GP still hasn't pitted yet. Lap 14 is continuing on, and he's got Konzo right behind him. Well, actually, he's got Valdemar right behind him and Konzo right behind him. And I think, you know, Valdemar and Konzo are struggling a little bit because they're on a hard compound tyre. And even though GP's hard tyres are very old now, because they are the same compounder tyre, it's not been easy for these guys to catch him up. But they are within a range now as MX Everglow's race comes to an early end. So Valdemar's got a good run, but not close enough for the overtake by the looks of it. Tony, what have you got your eyes on the track?
I was watching the same battle, so nothing new. That was an interesting battle. I was watching Valdemar and Konzo, and Valdemar did mess up a few corner exits, so Konzo caught up for him, but Valdemar has a quite high speed, so
so Valdemar just had quite a sideways car there. He did manage to get a header from a Racing GP, but GP's got a bit of a run on him here because of that sideways moment that Valdemar had. And Konzo's looking eager to get past the McLaren driver because he doesn't want to get stuck behind him like he did in Austria, which was very frustrating for him. But Valdemar, he's now into third place, and Mystic Joker. Oh, Valdemar sideways again. And I tell you what, Konzo's got a good run here. He's close. He may be able to have a look into turn 3 or be patient and wait for the Wellington straight and then throw a Wellington at that pesky McLaren driver.
I don't know why Front Row Racing GP ever did. I know it's sometimes take them long, but it's taken this long.
Well, I tell you what, as Konzo's close enough to go for it now on the Wellington straight, heading up to Brooklands, I'm just wondering, how many laps do you think a set of soft tyres can do?
That's what I think he may be trying to do. I've done it once around this track, but it's not easy. So, soft tyres, end of the race? You're probably looking at 8 laps, probably get a good usable life out of them.
I tell you what, Tem, try and work out where GP will feed back out onto the track. Because earlier on he had Ant 69 a couple of seconds behind him when Ant pitted. So it'd be interesting to see where GP could filter back out onto the track. I'm just having a bit of a flick through the order to see if we've got any sort of close battles going on at the moment. And the field is still looking a little bit spread out, which is a little bit unfortunate. However, that is the way it goes sometimes. And David Harp, he's still going round. He's in 16th place at the moment. We saw him have that big crash earlier on.
GP is speeding. His engineer told he's going for mediums, and he was at 70% tire wear. So let's see if he goes for mediums.
We will find out.
I was having a look at where he'd feed out. Looking somewhere around Jason, I think. Sort of roughly around the area. So he's done well, but like we said, these hard tyres, they're that well if you're a bit on them that you actually go quicker later on in the stint than at the start because you burned all the fuel off.
Yeah.
They are quite a nice happy tyre to have.
So it's going to be close between GP and Jason here. Jason just ahead. So that's GP down to 7th place, but he is on the medium compound tyre. He could do with dispatching Jason as quickly as possible. He's going to be quite some way behind Mystic Joker. That's the car that's now in 5th place. However, we'll have to wait and see what happens. But in comparison to Ant, let's see, GP is 40 seconds off the lead and Ant is 6 seconds behind, so 7 seconds. So GP has managed to open up the gap on Ant there while they were both on hard tyres. Ant's fresher, but I think Ant will be quite happy going round in 8th place at the moment with nobody causing him any problems.
That was his aim. Mr. Loki just entering the pits to let you know. So, set of mediums that'll be. I don't think he'll want to take soft from there onwards. So yeah, Hanzo's 12.5 seconds behind his teammate, so otherwise he has a big moment out the final corner there. Hopefully they can get the horrible penalty, but see if he can not pull back too much, then he actually does have a chance of winning this race. But what tyres is Valdemar on? He's in the halls as well. Valdemar pitted quite early though, didn't it? So yeah, you have to be careful to see if Valdemar does try and go to the end, but I'd still say my money's on Conzo at this point.
Well, Mr. Loki, you say he's pitted again, which we were kind of expecting, but Hindle has got to stop again, and at the moment his teammate's 13 seconds behind him. And I know GP said yesterday that a pit stop around here takes about 27 seconds, so when Hindle comes back out he's going to have some overtaking to do. Which could get a bit interesting towards the end of this race. But if you're on a brand new set of soft tyres and people are on medium worn to very worn hard tyres, they should be sitting ducks.
It should be, but you never know with some people.
That is true. Okay, Hindle hasn't...
He's going to have to come past the likes of Mr. Loki, Mr. Joker if he tries to go to the end. It's not going to have exactly slow people to go past, so maybe work
Valdemar pitting.
Yep, you're right there, Tony. Valdemar is pitting. If you want to keep an eye on what tyres he goes for,
sure.
That frees up Mystic Joker to 3rd place. We're now on the 19th lap of this race. We've got 7 laps to go. Mr. Loki, he came back out. He's in 5th position. And not that far behind him is Jason and Flora Racing GP, who are still battling. And one of the things about this circuit is it is a fantastic racetrack, but there's a lot of it where it is not easy to make an overtake, as GP is very, very close. As we saw in the World Championship race yesterday, the battle between RMS Maranello and Simo was a fantastic one to watch, but both drivers found... Simo couldn't overtake on the straights and he had to work a way to overtake in the corners, and that's what it can be like around this circuit. Even if you are superior in the corners, it's not always easy to overtake. Into turn 3 is a good chance, into this corner Brooklands is a good chance, and then you're looking at probably Stowe for the next best opportunity.
Valdemar has medium tyres. And I'm thinking people are afraid to use softs. Is it too early? Or...
Well, I'm surprised that they've not gone softs. I mean, at this point, if you're pitting, I would have thought going for soft tyres to the end would be on the cards. I mean, 7 laps on them, 8 laps on them. I would have thought it'd be doable. I mean, maybe people are just too scared of them, Tony. Okay, let's see. Has Hindle made any kind of movement towards the pits yet? No, he hasn't.
Mystic Joker in the pits, and he is putting mediums as well.
That is surprising. 6 laps to go and still good with a medium compound tyre. So, Temp, you're here as the kind of pundit, so what do you make of that then?
I don't really know. I've just watched Sheffield Hardtail do the same pit, put mediums on, so I don't know. I think it's not like these guys haven't got soft tyres. I mean, half of them chose balance their tyres, which means they do get a fresh set of softs for the race, but just choosing to stay away from them. So I don't know. I think they're going to get an overall better, quicker time to the end of the race, the mediums, but if you're pitting again at this point, I think, and you're say that far down, take a gamble.
Yeah,
it's not going to hurt you anymore.
Definitely. I'm just having a look at Mr. Loki. He's 34 seconds off Hindle, who is leading. So if Hindle pits, he should come out ahead of Mr. Loki. The question for Hindle will be, as he is in the pits, and it is for a set of the soft compound tyres. I was about to say, the question will be, where's his teammate going to be? But Konzo just going across the start-finish line now into turn 1, and I think Hindle may be behind. He is, but the gap is not going to be that big, is it? Let's see.
It's still at the pit lane limit at the moment.
Yep, and we've got to
go in now.
It's quite a big gap. So 6 laps then for Hindle to get the absolute hammer down. And I did see... Go on, Tony.
Yeah, I was just wondering if Konzo is going to pit. He pitted in lap 11 for the hard tyres. So, is it possible, or will he do soft tyres?
You say that. For a race, GP took him 16 laps from the start of the race.
Yes, that's true. I was wondering,
You know what will probably happen? Someone will be sat there going, well, GP's done 16 laps, keep going. He'll get a puncture on the last lap. If he gets a puncture on the last lap, I think his engineer's going to be getting a clip round the ears. Now, while we were watching Hindle pit... yeah, could be. While we were watching Hindle pit, from a Racing GP did manage to get ahead of Jason. He's now up to 6th place. And it's Mystic Joker that's ahead of him, and Mystic Joker is not that far ahead of him. So, Tony, you might want to keep an eye on that gap to see if it comes down at all. Temp, could you have a quick look around the fantastic Silverstone circuit to let us know if we've got any close battles anywhere? I'm going to quickly have a look at Hindle and the gap between himself and his teammate. Through the last sector, it was 10.2 seconds, and Konzo has continued on.
Yeah, I was just saying that he continued on, and it's already lap 22. Like, if he wants to pit, I think he would have pitted already. Like, there is no point keep going and then pit. So, I wonder what his strategy is.
His strategy is keep going, keep on swimming. Let's see, Hindle, he's managed to get the gap down to 9.1 seconds, so the gap is closing, but there's not many more laps. Let's see, the gap between Hindle and Loki is, 9 seconds. Valdemar doing an absolute phenomenal job, sitting in 4th place at the moment. He's 23.5 seconds off the lead, and he's got Mystic Joker about a second behind him, and Mystic Joker has recently put in the fastest lap of the race. The gap between Mystic Joker and GP is 7 seconds. And Jason has dropped off the back of GP by a couple of seconds now. And 69, he's running in 8th place. And is that his teammate right behind him?
It is.
It is. So that's... Go on, Tony.
A little bit info for you. We have 2 drivers in the top 3 with some kind of penalties. Could this then be Konzo thinking, I'm staying out, I need the gap to be more than 3 seconds? Or is it Hindle thinking, I've only got to gain another 6?
We'll have to wait and see, because I'm not going to tell you who's got the penalties. We'll have to wait until the end of the race for that one. Okay, what have we got? Hindle, what is that gap? 7.5 seconds. The gap is coming down. I think Temp was about to jump in with a comment there. Go on.
No, I'm looking at these penalties.
All right.
That's very interesting, actually.
Yes, it is. It's very interesting.
Oh, actually, something else very interesting with this as well. Someone needs to be careful. He might find himself dropping down a few positions rather than gaining.
Ooh. Now, I do know a few people have said that this Silverstone circuit is quite harsh on penalties and things like that, which is kind of understandable, but at the same time, I mean, if you're off the track, you're off the track. Be glad it's not Project Cars where it slows you down for 15 seconds. I don't know why I would have mentioned that.
Definitely not, no. If only had it around this track, it would have been too ironic.
Oh yeah, that would have been rather cruel. And if anyone wants to know what I'm on about, watch the Project Cars race from Sunday that's on the Front Row Racing YouTube channel. I tell you what, Valdemar, he's got himself a nice little gap between himself and Mystic Joker. He's looking comfortable on track at the moment for that position. I think the gap between GP and Mystic Joker, yet 9 seconds. I can't see that coming down enough towards the end of this race. Millstar, I've missed it. He has got ahead of his teammate, and so up to 8th place Millstar goes. And let's see, Farfba running in 10th, the final point scoring position. Got a bit of a gap between himself and Bleeding Sunrise, who has got SBL Mali Kekec right up his gearbox. Possibly an overtake about to happen here then. Bleeding Sunrise going defensive, Mali Kekec going aggressive around the outside. DRS open, side by side they go around Stowe, just about giving each other enough room, but Mali Kekec running a little bit wide, and now he's up the inside, and now it's contact between the two of them. A bit of bumping, it's not going to work for him. Now they're side by side again, and Mali Kekec manages to get ahead, but I think there may be a discussion about that one afterwards. Kane Ianda has also got Lefty Hardtail in close proximity to him, so we may have to keep an eye on that one a little later on.
Mali lost his position to Bleeding Sunrise. He ran wide and he got overtaken.
He looks like he's trying to take it back though now, isn't he? Side by side, are they? Now, did he go wide, or do you think he may have let him back through?
That might be it too, I don't know. And I have a little fun fact for you. Mali Kekec has a wrong setup in his car. He messed up with his setup. He put the wrong setup and realized after one lap in qualifying. So I don't know if that has been difficult race for him because of that.
It could well be very difficult for him. I mean, not only will the car drive differently, but it'll be in his mind. It'll be a mental situation for him.
Yeah,
no, like,
it's what if situation.
Yeah.
If I had a right setup,
yeah,
what could have happened? Like, yes.
Exactly. Having a quick look at Hindle, he's got the gap down to 3.5 seconds. He's gaining on his teammate, but there is only 1.5 laps to go. So, Temp, I asked you to have a... Sorry, go on, Tony.
Oh, yeah, I like to speak today. I think Konso is a little bit concerned about his tires, because that has been a while. He has done these hard tires. That would be a shame if something bad happens in a final lap. So, yeah.
Well, we saw a Mercedes driver yesterday have a bit of a problem with his tyres in the closing laps. Hindle, he's got the gap down to 2.7 seconds now, so he's pushing. He wants this. He wants to take the victory here. We did ask him before the race, or say to him, that you can't let the Scot or the Yank win. Well, at the moment, on the track, at least, the Scot is in first position. Yeah, Temp, a few laps ago I asked you to have a look around, see if we've got any battles going on. Is there anything kicking off at the moment?
No, they're all like the same gap. Like the closest spots are about 1.5 seconds apart. I think you have said any battles that were going on, but Bleeding Sunrise and Mali Kekec are still going at it, actually, saying that through the middle sector. going out of track now onto the hang straight as Loki.
Ooh.
Is that a retirement or is that a crash?
Well, Loki. That. Okay. I think I know
Doesn't
what
seem to be.
Okay.
Well, either way, his race has come to an end. It's unfortunate for Mr. Loki. Konzo's going through Maggots and Beckett's. He's still ahead of his teammate. Whether the order's going to change about a bit, I think it might, with the way that these two in the commentary box have been going on about penalties. But Hindle is trying to close that gap. I have absolutely no idea, once these guys cross the line, what positions they're going to be in. All I know is that as they head towards Vale for the final time, Konzo is in the lead and is on the cards for taking the victory here at Silverstone with his teammate Hindle right behind him. So it's a Mercedes provisional 1-2. Valdemar, he's in third place, and what a drive from a reserve driver. Whether he's going to stay there or not, I don't know, but on the day, looks like he's taking a third place, and sideways he goes across the line as Mystic Joker follows him in fourth place. No, Mystic Joker's been bumped up to third, so that's unfortunate for...
There was a few seconds of penalties, with Waldemar.
You know what? You're right, because Front Row Racing GP's jumped up to fourth place. That got confusing for me
Yes, that was not true. That was not true.
I wouldn't be surprised if it hasn't finished yet either. So Milstar, he's crossed the line in 7th place. And at 69, it's an 8th place finish for him. Mali, Kekech and Bleeding Sunrise, they're still going at it, fighting for the final points position, which means that something may have happened to Farfba. But it looks like Mali Kekech is going to hold on to 10th place. Yes, he does. Bleeding Sunrise. No, Malik Kekech has dropped to 11th place. He must have penalties as well. Oh my days, this is going to be confusing. Let's see, Lefty Hardtail across the line. Here he goes. Is he going to stay in 12th? I think he might. Well, I think we're going to have to take a moment to have a proper look at this timing screen. And yeah, a few penalties handed out there.
There was, in-game stewards have been busy this race with those penalties.
Oh yes, they have. Guys, if you could take a snapshot of the result for us, that'd be fantastic. I may actually be able to do it myself as well. But yeah, Konzo, no penalties, takes the victory. He'll be absolutely delighted about that one. I mean, you could say that even without Hindle's penalties, unfortunately, he still finished second. But in a few moments, we'll get on to the podium interviews with Konzo, Hindle, and was it Mystic Joker that finished in third place there? Because Valdemar ended up dropping a place. Well, I tell you what, I'm not sure that race was as action-packed as the World Championship race from yesterday, but that has had an interesting potential effect on the championship standings. But also, not only that, if the positions do get confirmed in what that result just showed, because that is only provisional, then in the head-to-head standings, that would put Hindle 6-4 up on Konzo for the race. And let's see, Mystic Joker would be 7-3 up on his teammate. But yeah, obviously the drivers have the opportunity to report any incidents or exceeding track limits and stuff like that. The stewards get to do their thing, and the result will get confirmed by a week on Saturday, giving plenty of time for the drivers to check their footage and make sure everything is in order. So it is only a provisional result, but we will get the podium drivers in for a chat. And if you've got any questions that you would like us to put to the drivers, feel free to comment on YouTube at FRR and ask your question. But don't worry, I'm sure we'll ask a few anyway. We'll also do the question of the day again, and we'll see if anybody gets anywhere near to getting that one right, as Mystic Joker has joined us in the commentary box, so take a breather. If you can make sure you got your microphone set to allow to be shared, and we shall come to you in a few moments' time to ask you some questions as we wait for Hindle and Konzo to come and join us as well. Hindle has now walked into the commentary box, and it looks like there's a bit of steam coming from his ears as Konzo, big smile on his face as he comes in behind Hindle. It actually looks like he's doing a little bit of a dance behind him. Yeah, all the guys are now in the commentary box with us, ready for the podium interviews. Just make sure you got your microphone set to allow to be shared. And I'll tell you what, a very exciting race there, very tense race, very interesting race. But I got to say, Konzo, well done, mate. Well done. Fantastic result. Qualifying was interesting, but that race strategy, it worked. Well done. Your view on it?
Yeah, thanks, Stevie. Qualifying, it was just all about making sure I was third or fourth, kind of near the front. Thankfully, I managed that. So I don't think I was too far off Ryan in qualifying, which is good. Makes a change. Race, it was just being patient, really. Had a plan of what I was doing at the start, so I had a feeling that the one stop was the faster, and compared to a two, and it turned out to be the case.
Well, it definitely did. Were there any tricky parts of the race for you? Was there anything that concerned you at all?
I think it's when I seen GP on the hard tyres, I was like, oh, okay. He's making it interesting. Because there was quite a good battle there for, I think it was P3 at the time. Valdemar, myself, I think Mr. Loki.
Yeah.
Well, it was a decent little battle.
It was. I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, Valdemar was behind you for quite. He was closely behind in sort of the first half of the race. I mean, how do you think he got on with him trying to apply some pressure on you?
Yeah, he did well. He kept with me anyway. He did keep with me through most of the race, and it seemed quite hard to pass on a straight line. Thankfully, he went into and made it a little bit harder for me, but he didn't. He pitted.
You got
a decent race he had.
Yeah. Surely got to be buzzing. I mean, yeah, surely got to be jumping with joy on that one.
Yeah, I'm definitely pretty pleased.
Okay, I'm going to hand over to my co-commentator. So, Tony, any questions for Konzo?
Yes, our tires in the end. Was there urgency to pit, or was it comfortable drive with those tires?
It wasn't necessarily comfortable. I mean, at the start you're like, oh, these will definitely make the end of the race easily, but because I was pushing, I think the last 5 laps, because I knew Ryan pitted for the softs and some other people were on the mediums going faster than what I was, so I was pushing a little bit at the end, so I ended up with, I think it was 80 in the front left and 65 on every other tyre, so it was a bit 80. Of a weird... Yeah, in the front left, yeah.
Oh, lucky boy.
Yeah, so I had to push it though, because Ryan was 2 compounds softer and faster than me, so...
Well, it worked for you, Tony. You got any more questions for him?
I was thinking, Konzo, did something bad happen the lap after Hindle pitted and you stayed on? There was quite a gap after you exit the pit lane, so did something happen there?
What pit stop? Well, was it just
you
my
only
pit
did
stop?
What?
Your pit stop.
Oh dear.
I honestly can't remember that one, Tony. It was a little bit.
Oh God.
I'll have to look back.
That's one of the moments of the season right there. That is. Which pit stop only did what? Okay, Temp. Any questions for Konzo?
Well, as your supposed race engineer is mentioned on the YouTube channel, that's 4 out of 4 for you now. So, I mean, you already were the man on the move or the man to be. So, you're on form. Can't really be stopped. But did you consider changing your pit stop strategy, or was that one stop always what you wanted to do when you saw Hindle pit as early as you did and for another set of mediums?
I had an idea before the race that a one stop I was going to do, and thankfully I managed it. As for the run of form, yeah, I'm quite surprised that I've managed to win 4 in a row with Ryan as my teammate, but it's happened, so it'll hopefully be 5 by next week with Ryan being gone. So
well, it won't be next week, mate.
The week after.
not next week, the week after, yeah.
But yeah, man on 4 at the moment. So, we need to try and pull out some things to slow you down. Can't start running away with it. Can't let you do that.
Pretty sure the game will find a way.
Well, I'm hearing rumours that one of the engineers in Mercedes has got a little sticker made up to put on the rear wing of the car. I'm the WS champion.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm saying nothing. It's an interesting rivalry, and the result has potentially made for an interesting situation with the drivers' standings. But yeah, I mean, Konzo, fantastic drive, very well done. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back to you in a little while. We'll move on to Hindle. Hindle, interesting session. Qualifying, not quite pole position. Mr. Loki had the soft compound tyre on though. In the race, the first stint was phenomenal. Right on his gearbox, even though you're a compound harder, no problems. Strategy-wise, went medium, soft. I think a lot of us would think, was there no chance of pitting a little earlier for the soft compound tyre? And the other question might be, are you happy with that result, or is that one a bit frustrating for you?
Well, that's what I mean. The first stint, I was really surprised at how slow Loki was, because his quality lap weren't too shabby at all. So I thought he's gonna get off, so I'll leave him to it. And he never did, so I was quite surprised by that. He was holding me up for a bit actually. And then I got past him and he pitted. Strategy wise, I'm just too cautious now because of what happened to me in Baku. But it's 73% and I got a puncture, so I'm aiming at 70%, and that's my limit. So the one stop was not on for me today at all. I was always going to do the 2-stop. I knew it was going to be tough because I knew Con was going to do the 1-stop on the pit lane. Is ridiculous. So yeah, I'm happy with P2. It's probably the best I was going to get today.
Well, I mean, it's a good result. It's not the win. You've ended up letting the Scot take the victory, which means he's now become British.
British Grand Prix.
Well, yeah, but Scots don't become British until they win something, so now you're British. But yeah, I mean, okay, throughout the race, I mean, Mr. Loki, I think, when we discussed it in commentary, whether he may be trying to look after his tyres a little bit to try and make a long stint to work on the soft tyre, but did it cross your mind at any point to pit a lap or two earlier for those soft tyres at the end?
No, because I've not really done a lot of practice, so I didn't know that. I knew the tyre wear on them was like atrocious, but I knew I'd be safe at the end of lap 20 to do 6 laps. I know he did 7 laps at the start, but you need to optimise, because I pitted so late for softs, you need to optimise the time, and it was still good at the end, whereas another 1 or 2 laps would have been dreadful. So yeah, just thought about it, but I thought I might as well play it safe. That's all. Tracks like this, and especially like Hungary, that even though I'm not hungry, I'd have had to play it so safe. Yeah. Basically, I'm having nightmares about Baku.
Oh dear. Well, I mean, if you're going to finish second, having your teammate ahead of you, is the only way you'd want it to be, really. Until it becomes a potential title fight between you, the rival. Well, yeah. Well, not really. Not until a little later on in the season. Yeah. Is when they
25 points at Hungary, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Oh yes, that it will be. Okay, Tony, any questions for Hindle?
It's actually quite fun that you brought that subject in, because I was going to ask that there's 18 points between our Mercedes guys before this race, and now if the results stays, it's only 11 points. So will we see a new number one driver for Mercedes for the rest of the season after next race?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I've beaten, well, not beat him every race. I've been leading him in the points since the start. So, and I've not classed myself as a one driver. So,
I've got an interesting follow-up question on that. Right? Okay, Hindle, you're not going to be able to race in Hungary. You're going away. When it comes to picking a reserve driver, do you pick someone that could possibly beat Konzo? Or do you pick someone that will not beat Konzo?
I don't know. I've never thought of it like that.
You will now.
Don't know. But no, I wouldn't do that.
Right, Konzo, if he picks Mr. Loki as your teammate for the next race, you know he's trying to stitch you up. I mean, I only asked the question because
if that's the case.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned it because it could be the way your driver thinks. Obviously, Hindle wasn't thinking that, but now he might. Now, Tony, back to you. Sorry, I interrupted your questions there, so I'll let you carry on.
Oh, no, I was finished. I was just asking Hindle his feelings about the points being turned upside down. So,
no. Well, you never know. You could have cursed him. We need to wait until Hungary first. He might disconnect. You never know.
He's so good for ready to do that.
He's picking cows, so.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be so cruel. Okay, TempFear, any questions for Hindle?
You got a penalty quite early on, I noticed, or I think it was anyway. And then I saw you picked up another one, and you was close to a third, I believe. So was you quite worried before Loki disconnected or left that you may lose out to him?
No, I knew he had a gap, and the penalties were. It's easy to get them on this track anyway, but my car was too responsive. Like, I turned in and it turned way too much, especially at turn one, and Beckett's as well. I struggled with. The car just kept turning in way too quickly, and then I got the second warning, and I thought, when I was catching Connor up, and I thought, right, I've got to back off now, because if I get another one, then I could be in trouble. Well, then he retired, so.
Well, okay. Well, we'll move on to Mystic Joker. So Hindle, very well done on second place there. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back to you shortly. So we'll move on to Mystic Joker, who's been sitting there quietly, patiently, and possibly a little frustrated, but also quite pleased in the end. Mystic Joker, I was kind of expecting a masterful race here. We've seen how good you can be over the course of this season, so I was expecting sort of pole position by a few tenths and a race where you run off at the front, but I kind of got that one wrong. I mean, is Silverstone a track that you struggle with, or was there something wrong with the setup, or was it just a tough old race out there for you today?
No, you just commentators cursed him.
Yeah, that is true.
Nah, no, I quite enjoy the circuit. Actually, it's actually one of my favorites. It's just I haven't even put any practice in. I mean, I haven't even really hopped on the game since the last race that I was in. So, yeah, I don't know. It was just kind of off. I wasn't feeling it today, so race was just kind of all over the place for me.
Well, it looked a little. I'd say it looked a little frustrating for you. You had Valdemar just early on, and towards the end. Was it a case of just sort of playing it not safe, but just making sure you keep it on the road, you get to the end, hope others have got penalties, and if you gain places, so be it, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah, it was somewhat of that. I mean, I made a lot of mistakes. I just, for whatever reason, I couldn't get Maggots and Beckett's right, which is, I usually hit that spot on, but I don't know, this race, almost every single time that I was going around there, I was just messing up really, really bad and losing a ton of time. So, yeah, there was a few other mistakes that I made coming out of the pits one time too. I like almost spun out, and yeah, so I mean, by then, and then I picked up like a penalty, and by then I was just like, I'm just gonna finish the race and see where I end up. And last few laps, I was starting to catch, was it Valdemar up? And I didn't even know if he had a penalty or not, but I was still trying to get to him just to try to beat him on track. But yeah, it was alright. I'm happy.
Well, I mean,
Frustrated too, but yeah.
Well, the thing is, I mean, being frustrated, I mean, that's fully understandable. But at the same time, I mean, you said a few races ago, your aim is to be on at least the podium. And I think pretty much most of the races you've been in, you've been on the podium. So you're still hitting those targets. Now, I didn't see you have that moment on the exit of the pits, but I do know that one of my co-commentators did. So I'm going to hand over to him now. So, TempFear, any questions for Mystic Joker?
Well, I thought I was actually listening then, just realised something else. But yeah, I did see you have that moment. So was it a case of just getting on the grass on the exit, or hitting the throttle too hard, or a bit of both?
Yeah, I think it was a bit of both, honestly. I just put too much and caught a tiny little bit of the grass, and my car just went off, and I was like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah,
that was a pretty scary moment. I lost a bit of time though.
Yeah,
but
I think you ended up behind someone as well. I'm not quite sure who it was.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was either now, but yeah, for a little bit I ended up behind someone.
Also, I mean, we used to seeing you stay at the front, especially in qualifying as well. But you was down in 6th, I think it was today. So, was it just the same thing in the race you had in the race, of just not nailing Maggots, Beckett's, and so on, or was it something else?
No, I wasn't feeling it, man. I don't know, for whatever reason. Lately, I know I keep saying it, but lately I just haven't been on it. And I know which is frustrating because I know I can be a lot better, I know it in myself. I've proved it before, not even just in this league, and then, in other leagues too, and yeah, no, that's my own fault though, there's nothing to blame, no excuses. That's just me just not being on it. So,
well, you know what to do now, and that is get some practice in for Hungary, because there's only going to be one of the Mercedes drivers there in that race. It's an opportunity. You get back on track there, and it swings about again. I'll cut in there. So, you got any more questions for him?
No, I was just going to mention about the championship, how he was leading at the start of the season, but he's falling off a little bit as it would be now. So, like I say, get practicing, get back in that fight. It'd be nice to see a 3-car fight the whole season. As much as Hindle and Konzo wouldn't want it, or yourself, but for us and everyone else, it's brilliant. So, get back in there and make some interesting
I know they might not want it, but I do.
Yeah, well, let's make it happen. Okay, Tony, any questions for Mystic Joker?
Yeah, I have a bad one, but you picked a wrong race to not practice, because this was most of the guys' home race. So would that be nice if you have got the pace to snatch the victory here? That would be something.
It would have been pretty crazy, having an American win the race. Yeah, no, it's usually one of my strongest circuits, man. But like I said, I just haven't been on it lately, and yeah, I enjoy it a lot. And for whatever reason, Maggots and Beckett's, I lost a lot of time through there a lot of times, and I don't know, but yeah, that would have been nice though.
Now you have to practice more for a USA race because they want to steal your home race victory there.
Oh yeah, no, you can believe that I'm definitely going to be putting in a ton of practice there to make sure that I get that victory there.
I've got a feeling we're going to see all of Mercedes' tyres stashed up at the top of the tower for that one. I tell you what, though, it's interesting that you mentioned about Maggots and Beckett's. I mean, it's only, 4 or 5 corners, and people might think you don't lose that much time through there. But if you could put a number on how much time you think you could lose through Maggots and Beckett's by getting one bit of it wrong, how much time do you think that would be?
Oh man, easily through there, like 2-3 tenths, easy.
Yeah.
And then that just only messes up the rest of that last bit of the sector, you know.
Yep.
So
it's very easy to lose 3 tenths, half a second. You multiply that by 26, and all of a sudden you got 13 seconds. And that's the thing with Maggots and Beckett's. It's so easy to lose a lot of time there, and it's so difficult to gain it.
There's one line through there, and you get one bit of it wrong. You either then go in a situation of, okay, do I try and get back onto that normal line? And if so, you then lose so much time doing it, or you just try and make your rowing line through. There really is only that one line through there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Tony, we're going to go to questions from the viewers on YouTube. Do we have any questions from YouTube for the drivers?
I don't see those. I think there was some, but those were kind of chatter.
Yeah, they're not for the drivers.
Yeah, sure. Temp has watching those too. If you can see something, just say.
Okay, well, go on.
GP wants to say a big thank you to Maranello for being his engineer, saying he's definitely engineer of the day. Dom or Ovidai Kings people know him was disagreeing, saying he is, since he got his team a 1-2. And then they're having a bit of banter in between there. I did see a few others, but there has been quite a few comments saying that. Steve's also saying his teammate is going to win America, so DSC man.
I tell you what, can you really claim to be engineer of the day if you've made one of your drivers do a two-stop and he's come second?
Maranello wasn't claiming it. Right. Steve said he should, then you get Dom claiming it.
I'm just trying to make arguments between the engineers.
You also got this is aimed at Hindle and Konza a little bit. At Pentra Pumpers, is there enough space for 3 WS champs in one team? Surely Dom has to go.
Ooh.
3? Why? Who else is a World Series champ? GP not, is he?
No.
Season 4, I believe.
Alright, I don't know.
I don't know.
Overdykink is a former World Series champion, yeah.
Oh, I thought GP was going to make himself.
No.
Oh yeah, and he wants to know when Ryan and Temp are getting their trophies.
Yeah.
They're not, unfortunately. They're not. When someone wants to pay me to buy them, then that's fine. Okay, we're going to go on to question of the day. I tell you what, before we go on to that, I will mention, obviously someone's made a comment there, and Tem made it to me before. In the history of Formula Racing, there have been a few seasons where trophies have been given out. I've won the championship twice, and I've never got a trophy, unfortunately. But on those seasons where...
That's you, and you're just shocking, aren't you?
Cheers, thanks for that. There have been seasons where trophies have been given. On one occasion, they were donated to us, and on the other couple of occasions, I've paid for them myself. Last season, that wasn't a situation, something I could do, unfortunately. And you'll notice there is no point of the season that it is advertised or said that trophies will be given, because if we are able to get them, then great. But if we're not, people aren't expecting them, and then get frustrated if they're not able to be gotten. So yeah.
Well, yeah, you just scare the crap out of Konzo when you're asked for his address, though. He's quite
I know. Oh, you should. He was for days. He was going, "Why do you want me address? What are you going to do?" And I'm like, "Don't worry, mate. Chill out." But anyway,
he's going to start calling police and everything. What? Calling up windows.
Anyway, okay. Question of the day before we finish off. For the viewers, if you've already had a guess, you're more than welcome to have another guess, and we shall put it to the podium drivers now. Okay, so as many people know, I do tend to have quite an interesting sleeping habit, and yeah. Story of my life. See nighttime more than daytime usually, but the question of the day is this: what time did Front Row Racing DP wake up today? Considering that I was awake for 30 odd hours the day before, when I finished doing the for the World Championship commentary. So that's the question of the day. Simple as that. What time did I get up today? 1 hours and minutes. So Konzo, we get to have a guess first.
Just guess at the time you got up. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I reckon maybe 3 o'clock. Maybe.
That's normal.
AM or PM?
PM, of course.
PM. Okay. Hindle.
See, you got to think logically. When did he ask for your pre-race comments, Konzo? He asked for mine midday. Now.
That's unfair advantage.
I never looked my foot off you talk, so yeah.
He's either not been to sleep or he's been to sleep and not got a lot of sleep. So I'm going to say he got up about 11 o'clock.
Ooh.
11 a.m.
Right.
Oh, Mystic Joker. Go on then.
See where he says I'm not meant to sleep.
I'm gonna go with like 9:30 in the morning.
9:30 a.m.
That's too normal, Dave.
Normal? That's alien. Okay, Arazor, you've been keeping an eye on YouTube. Has there been many guesses at the attempts of that one?
Not many. There is 4:25 a.m., 7 p.m., 7:10 p.m.
7 p.m. Bloody hell.
Just woke up.
Someone didn't say 7:20 p.m. The live stream was up by then.
7:20, 7:45, 1 a.m., 6:45 p.m. Yeah.
Bloody hell. So you'd say more PMs than AMs?
Yep.
Yeah, it's either ridiculously early in the morning, like 1 or 4.
Well, you know what?
It's
It just
like
goes to show. It just goes to show what people think of my sleeping pattern. It's all PMs. Well, I can tell you, you're all horribly, horribly wrong. I like Hindle's style of, well, come on, he sent you a message at midday. Well done. However, from what I've heard, there's only one person that got kind of close, because it was actually 5:47 that I woke up. AM.
Morning or afternoon?
AM. Morning or afternoon.
What time did you go to sleep last night, Dave?
I was asleep by 11:30.
Nah, I don't believe it.
Honest to God.
No, it. You normally sleep for 12 hours straight.
No, I don't. I usually sleep for about 6-7 hours, but I usually don't get to sleep until midday. But no. So yeah, 5:47 a.m. was the correct answer, which means that I'm probably going to be awake until that time in the morning. But anyway, there we go. Not the most fun of questions, but interested to get an insight on what people think of people's sleeping patterns. Anyway, time to bring this to an end then. So well done to our podium sitters. Konzo taking another victory in the World Series and putting one over his teammate Hindle, who finished in second place and is going to be on holiday for round 11 in 2 weeks' time at Hungary. And third place, Mystic Joker, who I think it would be safe to say has saved a few points there and has got a good opportunity of gaining a fair few more in Hungary in 2 weeks' time. Thank you to all of the viewers for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe to get notified of when we are next live, and we will next be live on Sunday evening 8 p.m. for round 4 on Project Cars, the DTM League for the sprint race qualifying and the feature race from the Hockenheim National Circuit. So come and join us for that. The action in that has been quite interesting so far this season. Finally, I'd just like to say thank you to TempFear and Arazor21 for joining us in the commentary box, doing a grand old job, even if they can't speak English too well. So well done, and thank you to you too.
All right.
Thank you.
That little shot at us, Eraser. Our team will.
I'm not having a shot at you. That is exactly what Eraser said before we came live. It can't be a stab if I'm only repeating exactly what they said before we came live. But anyway, I also want to say well done to Arazor21 for not mentioning Jason throughout the whole of that race. Congratulations.
Sorry.
Obviously, the Jason Anonymous meetings have been working for you. So well done for that. But no, anyway, but make sure
let's see in Hungary then.
Yeah, Hungary is going to be a one-car camera. Okay. Finally say thank you again to everybody. Next Wednesday and Thursday is the World Championship reserves and the World Series reserves. So come and join us for that. Anyway, this has been From Our Racing's World Series. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you all again soon.